figure out what being just Andy means. So, no group, no nothing. Just me.
That's pretty tricky.
It is. Get like your identity tied to a lot of bigger things than yourself. And then when you're only left with yourself, you're kind of left to, I don't know, see if you like yourself. And how you can learn to if you don't.
Yeah. Wow. Never really thought about it like that.
Yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, I moved out of the house from behind you guys and moved up to my campsite.
How come? What
Mm,
happened?
I mean, I left the group and I was like, if I'm not in the group, it wouldn't make sense to be part of the group house. Give them their space, let them build whatever they're building. Um, but I also just really like the woods. I like the quiet. The city moves too fast for me. And I still wanted to be kind of Polito person, but I like being out in the woods alone. Um, that got a little complicated, I guess, along the way. Then I moved camps and this stuff I'm sure we're gonna get into, and people are scary, and I don't know. I think you are no stranger to how much that stuff makes you not trust people. So I guess that was partially the reason too.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose we should get down to brass tacks.
Yeah. I hear you have some pages.
I do.
I also have
Unfortunately,
pages.
yeah.
Hmm.
But then again, half of me is also okay with it, I guess.
I don't really think it's a bad thing, to be honest. Well, at least not in comparison to what we've gone through, right?
I know how I got dragged back into it, but how did you get dragged back into it?
He texted me and said it was an old friend and that he wanted to chat. So I went to the lighthouse. I made a mistake that I think pissed him off or worse. And he told me to leave quickly. So I did. He called me again, told me that I wasn't in danger, but I needed to come down right now. So I did. He gave me a notebook and then I started receiving pages to volume 2, I guess.
Hmm.
But when was the last time you talked to him?
I can tell you. 10 days ago, when my son was dragged into it too.
Yeah, I heard Flop. I heard some shit. I guess I'll put it lightly. I
Yeah.
think
So,
Balto's a fucking moron.
yeah, you say that again. That's when I last spoke to him.
So okay. Hmm.
Can I ask what mistake you made? That you say the wrong? Did you bring in the wrong people or something?
No, no, I don't bring people with me. That is that risks people being stupid.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If I'm the only one talking, the chances are more likely to be
Mm-hmm.
okay. I I don't think you're gonna take this well, but I hope I'm wrong. So, um, obviously we all, maybe not we all, but some people, and I know your family in particular, suffered some serious losses with everything all those years ago. I suffered losses in my life, pretty significant ones before I moved here, many, many years ago. That were pretty much the drive to move here and to kind of make up for guilt I had over what happened and why I was so nice and wanted to make fun things and did my compliment drive-bys trying to make every person happy was to try and make up for that loss. Because I thought if I put enough good into the world that it would make up for the significant amount of good that I felt like was lost because of me. I carried that for a very long time. And while I am 100% aware of the fact that Norman is awful and has ruined a lot of lives and fucked up a lot of people, he did lift the weight of that off my conscience. And that meant a lot. After that, um, do you remember Cheddar? Did you know Cheddar?
Yeah.
Cheddar was one of my first friends here. And when we lost him, the city has a terrible knack of not only a lot of people not mourning people, which is fine, people deal with grief in their own way, but also making people who are mourning feel worse. So I fucked off onto a random hill to grieve by myself because I was so frustrated and felt so dumb for feeling sad about losing my friend. And Norman showed up and said that while I may be alone among my peers, I was not alone there, and directed me to talk to somebody else who was experiencing the same type of thing. So while Norman was a threat and was actively threatening a lot of parts of my life and a lot of people I cared about and everybody else and everybody they cared about, there are still significant burdens that were on my shoulders that he took off of them and let me kind of come to peace with those things. So when he called me down to the lighthouse when I came back after all these years, I told him that should he need a kindness, I would do that, but very much one that I dictate, one that's not a deal, one that is not anything I'm uncomfortable with, but just a literal kindness. And that is what garnered a somewhat confused and visceral reaction. It was not me saying I'm going to go kill somebody for him because I never would. It was not me saying I was going to do anything that was within the realm of deals, but just a genuine kindness, whether that was, I don't know. I hope you understand there are topics that I don't want to talk about because we've learned that they're terrible to talk about out loud. But picture it in the way of like asking somebody to put flowers on someone's grave. That kind of kindness, not anything dangerous or harmful or manipulative or anything, just a genuine kindness. But said he said that it was probably a first uh in modern times or in his past that anybody had done that. And I could be insane, but it seemed like he was doing everything in his power to not fucking kill me on the spot and told me to pretty much get the fuck out of there. And now he will not come near me. since giving me the journal. The closest he's come is probably about as far as the tree down there in front of us, like way down the hill.
And he's given you a journal, and then he's given you pages. Is that right?
Yeah, he gave me, I'll call it volume 1, and then he also gave me um well, he let me know that there was another one and he wasn't sure how I'd find the pages. I found one at like a spot he had hurt somebody at all those many years ago, even before my time. Some he's had people deliver to me with instructions to not read them, and to my knowledge, those people didn't, and I do trust them on that. And then he himself brought one to a hill above where I had moved my campsite and just left it on the ground and never said a word, never came close.
And the first journal, is that from before? Like when? What is that from when he was alive?
No, it's one he wrote recently. It's pretty much if he was writing an autobiography. It starts with like details about his childhood and teenage years and coming here, what he did here,
Interesting.
his trial, how he died, and what he's been doing since.
He was talking to Jackie.
Yeah, we actually talked yesterday, and put our pages together. Because he had some, I had some.
I'm still, if I'm honest, I still don't really know what I want to do,
Okay.
because there's part of me that just wants to take these pages and burn them so that he gets nothing and I don't do anything for him ever again. I don't play any part in this game, even though he told me there's no strings attached. I just, there's always that nagging part of me that's like, am I just another geese on the board? Just another player in his game? And am I just playing my part here, doing what he wants by coming to you and handing them over? So part of me just wants to
Mm,
get rid of him and not let him do whatever he wants to do.
right.
And then there's another part of me that resonates with you, and hmm, well, why? I'll ask you this: why are you putting the pages? Why are you gathering them? Has he asked you to?
Um, not. No, he hasn't asked me to. They just kind of came. Um, and I'm not. mm, I'm not like hunting down pages to the point of like I'm not gonna listen, Dark. You and I have known each other a long time, and I know we don't see each other very much, but you are important to me, and I do care about you. So I'm not looking for these to the point where I am going to stand here and try to convince you of giving them over. I want you to do whatever is going to be the best decision for you to be able to sleep at night. The only reason that I'm continuing is because I haven't forgotten everything he had done. There are still indications that he is bored, and that could mean anything. And as long as he is entertained and the strings are being pulled, and it's not a dangerous game this time around, and it is just collecting pages, then the safer we all are for the longer. But from what I've read, it seems like he's saying goodbye. And that doesn't need to mean anything emotionally, but as far as the people who have been affected by all of this, if an explanation could help people come to terms with everything that happened or everything that could happen, and it could help people have closure in any capacity or have answers that they will not get from him directly, then I think that's worth it.
See?
Have
Is that
you
this?
heard any of the pages? Have you read yours?
Yeah, and flops.
But not Snow's or mine. Well,
No,
obviously not mine, but. Mm.
is no one of the same opinion as you?
Um, I don't know. We didn't really talk about why. I think there is like a shared part of Snow and I where our brains kind of just work, and like if there's a puzzle in front of us, of course we're gonna solve it. I think there's also a factor that it seems like this book may be instructional, and I kind of worry about how far that could spiral. I guess.
That's my worry here, Andy, is
Yeah, I feel like it's my thing is I feel like it's safer that it is among people who are not going to let it spiral out rather than all of us quit and then it goes to people who are going to pick the most chaotic, dangerous, fucked up route for all of us. That's all.
either way, letting this book, this journal be complete is asking for the unknown to happen. It's either something very simple, and it could just be a journal. It could just be a combination of words written down on pages, and that's it. This is Norman Bones we're dealing with, and it could be something much more dangerous that we don't even know what might happen at the end of it. That's what I'm worried about. And if we put this stuff together, are we just getting sucked back in again?
I think there's always the chance, but I'm I've taken to viewing it very much as the journal he left before meeting the firing squad, where there's just an innate, as much as we don't like to say it about Norman, but human need to leave an impact when you go. And he felt strongly enough to leave behind an entire diary of that stuff before. So I guess it kind of doesn't surprise me that he wants to leave something behind, and it could be that simple. Or he's hoping somebody gets rid of him.
I'm tending to lean and agree with you that this is a goodbye based on what I've read. but also maybe it was stupid. But also, in 5 years, I've kind of come to terms with things a little bit differently with Norman. I've kind of got my own opinion on him, and I guess death as a whole. And I wouldn't bore you with that, but I
wouldn't be bored.
know. But I asked him straight up. I got flopped to leave first, but after I'd read the notes, and I wasn't going to do it, but Plop had to go pick up his pages, and so I got the chance to talk to him again. So I stood next to him, and after Plop had gone, figured it doesn't hurt to try. Well, it could have hurt to try. It could have hurt really bad, actually. But I said to him, and I said, Norman, you know, there's easier ways to say goodbye. And he said, yeah, you're probably right. That was it. And I left.
And that might just be it then.
Thinking that too.
Especially with like what I've read from the other pages. I don't know if you're interested in hearing what the others say, but I am happy to read them to you if it helps you make a choice more easily.
Sure, yeah. I like that.
I've got pages 1 and 2 and 3 and 5 and 7 and 10. Wait, sorry, and 9 and 10 and 11.
That's okay. A lot of pages.
Story time. Yeah, I mean, they're a combination of what I had plus the one Snow had. Unsatisfied. Even now, I toy with the idea of just doing it, making the final call on all of life and existence, tolling the bell, as it were. Even after I have gained everything I had ever wanted, I am the purpose I wanted for so long. Why, after all of this, do I still have a pit inside me, unfulfilled, a hunger for more, everlasting? The question remains, however, if I remove everything in existence except me and life itself so that I would still be able to live, would that be enough? Would I finally be able to rest? Would this old twisted soul finally be able to call it quits? I cannot confidently answer that. I would have done what I wanted all along, and yet it does not seem like it would fill that need. Not only that, but even death understands that there is a balance. Of course, there will come a time when we all return to dust and a deep black void along with death, but until then, it knows that if one scale tips too far, it could cause a wave that would not stop. So again, I am reminded to not pull the trigger. At every turn, I am denied what I understand to be right. At every urge to end something or someone on a whim, I am pulled back. I understand why, I understand how, I understand the reasons not to, and still I feel the need to do it anyway. I have considered all of my options at this point. I have sat alone with my own thoughts for what feels like eons. Everything I have considered has pointed in one direction. There is only one that aligns with what should be, with what needs to be, and it is disappointing. It is not what I thought it would be, but it is needed. It is a conclusion I have arrived at, yet I am unwilling to even write it, let alone continue to think it. Though it must be done. I will leave that until I am done with these notes, however. There are still things that need to be discussed. On the subject of deals made, this next section would be of interest to many involved in my recent visit 5 or so years ago. I made several deals with living people in order to harm or kill the people around them. Some targeted people that they cared for. Most made deals so that they didn't have to do that. Instead, targeting and sacrificing people they did not know in the name of their deal. There were even times when people offered either themselves or something of value before I even reached out to them. Word had gotten well around at this point. Some view that as foolish. Most of the time, they are just trying to be careful. In doing so, they unfortunately bring themselves into the fold. Truly, the best way to avoid it, to avoid me, is just that: stay away. By keeping your distance, you ensure you and your loved ones a much better chance at not succumbing to an early grave. A lot of people caught on to that. Some even moved away. Though that isn't exactly a solution, moving away, that is. I exist in all places, not just a lighthouse. You would be naive to think otherwise. Should you come into contact with this journal, I have written one before this. I have given it to Andy Jones. Whomever has this one, you are free to contact her about it, though I am unsure of how she will receive it or you. For this next section, I think I'm going to answer several questions. However, it should cover the biggest one thus far. How do we kill Norman Bones? How does one kill with that which cannot be killed? So many have tried thus far, not a single one understood the final step. Bundy and his family gave it everything in their arsenal to kill me. The Bondi boys spent months doing their best to figure out a way around it. I've been shot, stabbed, set ablaze. They even dropped a building on me, and not a single soul had what it took. It's so obvious. And then I don't have page 4,
Oh God.
but 5 says, still the answer remains unwritten. Still it remains unspoken, at least from my own lips. Even if I am slowly withering away, I am still here, still causing torment, still hurting those who would be affected most, still unfulfilled. When you die, eventually you gain an understanding of your situation. Some souls take eons to get there as they struggle with what they left behind, clawing at once was, reliving memories long forgotten. Some souls gain their understanding as soon as it happens. For me, it would seem I got both. I understood why I was where I was. Shortly after I got to step into the Shortly after I got to step into this role, I then began to relive and claw back onto what once was, vicariously through my recent actions, admittedly. Regardless, I knew when I died that was it. There was no returning to being a man again. I think that if I had the understanding of how to feel, I would miss little things: how food tasted, how the sun felt on the skin, what it meant to make a friend. When I died, I was ready, both to be there and to take death's place. I knew that even if I wanted to be human again, I could not return and would eventually fade into oblivion. Read the last paragraph again. That's it. And then I'm missing page 6, but this is page 7. I left all of this unsaid for a very long time. Some people guessed it correctly, though no one had the gall to actually do it. I kept it unsaid for good reason, though. I wanted to keep what is now mine. I did not want to lose all that I had gained. As time has gone on, however, I realize that I will lose it no matter what. I had mentioned earlier that if one was to step into the role of death, they would need to let go of all things and memories they once held as a human. That they would need to begin the role with the understanding that they could never return. I want you to ask yourself, does that sound like what I have done in the past few years? Have I, Norman Bones, adhered to death's own rule set? No, not even close. Because I have not stayed away from my old life. Because I could not stop myself from harming others. Because I could not repeat the temptation or resist the temptation to prey on the weak. Because I could not let go of killing. Because I could not let go of all of it. I'm being returned to the void. I will become nothing once more. My soul and my memories will be lost. There will be no afterlife for me. I will suddenly cease to be. I don't have page 8, oh, this is page 9. This next page is addressed simply to those who think it wise to view these pages and my words as lies. You should listen to your friends and family about the rumors. They are warning you for good reason. But should you ignore the people who care about your well being, go ahead, call my bluff. I would love nothing more. Threats done and over with now, I would like to move on to the subject of the dead and how the living view them. To whoever reads this, if your loved one is dead, they likely do not want you to torment yourself over their loss, no matter the circumstance. Often living people tell tales of what comes after one's death. Wars have been fought over the notion, societies have been built on the ideas surrounding the topic. Everyone wants to know the truth. But therein lies the problem. Almost all of it can be true. When a soul truly passes beyond the veil, whatever happens after is likely molded by their previous beliefs. The soul understands that it's been molded to them, but typically does not push against it, as it is a familiar comfort from when they were alive. This is true in most cases, not all though. Some swim their way through an endless fog, lost for an eternity, never gaining the rest they seek, by their own design sometimes. Some do not get an afterlife at all. They are removed, for lack of a better word. Me and my little. uh, Me and someone close are the last case. That being said, they can see you, hear you. They know when you share a fond memory of them. They know when you cry as you think of them. They're there with you when you miss them the most. I understand this is a rather somber tone compared to the rest of these notes. It is true, however. Most of the dead wish the living could understand they are at peace. Take solace in that notion. I have tried to keep a baseline respect for the living, who respect the dead and the weight of their deaths. For a long time, I held the dead over the living for leverage, bringing back old souls when they should not have been, to use them for deals, only to watch more die, including them. That has changed now. It was cruel, admittedly, knowingly cruel. Disrespecting the sanctity of death, it went against what I should have stood for then. I had gone against death's own wishes. It is part of the reason I am being removed, understandably. Those who have maintained this idea will always garner a ground level of respect and understanding from me now. Understanding the weight and value of one's life is, after all, the whole point to my work in the first place. After realizing my purpose so long ago, it gave way to thinking about why it seemed to mean so much to me after so long. My parents had done horrible things, and they never once thought anything bad was going to happen to them for it. Not only did they give no thought to their children's lives, but did not value their own. A disregard for the consequences. Consequences. That's all I have.
Was that page 11 that you had? The last one?
Yeah.
Page 12. My entire adult life, I watched people disregard their life they had been given, throw away the lives around them. They had lost sight of the extreme weight of a death. They had forgotten to give their life meaning. Especially the people of San Andreas. Pathetic. You toil away your sad existence every day in pursuit of meaningless material objects, tearing down the people around you. You hoard the things you acquire, step on anyone who may be in your way, and what has it got on you? A false sense of security? A faint fog of what happiness is meant to be? You are clowns with sad faces, painted in tears and blood. You perform every day to keep yourselves entertained. You press on, wasting away, hoping that eventually the fresh tears, the frown, and the drying blood will mean something, that your act will convince not only the people around you, but yourself that you were the only one doing it right. It will not change that way. That is not true for all of you, however. There are some who understand, some who put on an act, but underneath realize the position in it all. Some will try hard to make it worth something, but become lost. Some who actually manage to spend their time living wisely. This number is increasingly lowered constantly. Page 13. I've questioned myself if I too had lived a life that was purposeful, or that it had meaning to it. Parts of that question are difficult to answer for me. The lack of emotion blurs what would normally be clear for most humans. I do think that how I lived, the things I did, had meaning. Not only for myself, but the ripples it sent out to everyone involved, everyone affected. Even now, as I write this, as people talk and go about their days, just with the knowledge that I exist looming over their shoulder, it gave my existence meaning. It gives their existence meaning in a way. It forces these people to face what they would normally avoid in any way possible. It makes them think of their loved ones, consider who is most important. It makes the evil more wicked, the good into proverbial heroes. Above all else, it forces people to answer the question, what would I do when faced with death? The answer to that question is always entertaining. Something is poorly answered. Some meet it with laughter, some meet it with sadness. Some meet me with kindness. Some, a lot, meet me with anger. Though on occasion that is my fault. Regardless, the answer to the question is not just entertainment. The last 2 pages I can't read out loud
Okay.
because he told us if we did, it wouldn't go well.
Okay.
Andy, I'm worried after hearing all that because I think we both agree that he's not going to be here much longer. And this is really a goodbye. I think it is for him, for the most part. I think elements of it are for some people that he has spoken to over the years that he's been here. I think he's just lonely. I think the position that he's in right now, this role, whatever you want to call it, is one of the only places he's really felt at home, that he felt like he belonged in that position. And now it's been taken away from him. And I really hate it, but I feel sorry for him.
So do I.
So I do want to give you these pages, and I do want to help him say goodbye. But I have one concern, and that is who takes his place.
The question, I feel like I was screaming into a void all those years ago. My policy was always, at least Norman uses some level of logic. If he's playing chess with us, at least he's playing a game that has a rule set. Even if you can only hope for stalemate. But why? Why would anybody want to deal with the devil they don't know instead of the one that they do? I don't know what comes after him. Maybe it's nothing, and death goes back to being this perceivably less present concept. I feel like his presence was heavily influenced by the fact that he couldn't let go. I feel like a lot of this is him trying to let go. And while you say you want to help him say goodbye, I feel a part of that too for the things that he lifted that I don't think I would have ever been able to by myself. But even more so, I want the people who suffered through all of this to be able to say goodbye in their own way and bury that for themselves. I don't know what comes after.
I have a more
But
concerning theory. Do you want to hear me out?
mm-hmm.
possible, and I might be a bit of a Hail Mary, but after reading all that, if Norman's on his way out, not by his own choice, he might be doing us a kindness in return. My
By having us choose.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought about that too.
maybe whoever he's giving these notes to are people he considers, don't know what the right word would be,
To
candidates.
understand. Yeah. Maybe people he doesn't think will do what he did and do with that what he did.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. But I'm not interested.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
only I with him not coming anywhere near me, I only fear that that is going to be the kindness I offered. But that is not what I wanted.
Who else has been given notes?
I only know of the four of us.
Me, you, Flop, and Jackie?
Oh, because we're still missing two, aren't we?
I've got the last 5. I've got 11 through 15.
We're missing 4 and 6. 4, 6, and 8. That's it. I said that I would reach out to Pixie and see, because she had mentioned that she was aware of him being around. And Jackie said he was going to reach out to Dundee.
Yeah. I think it might be worth reaching out to Winston Walker.
Mm, you're not wrong. I forgot about Winston
Mainly
and Kiki.
because Norman said that that's the reason he's back. Because of what happened to Winston.
Mm, okay, well,
Have a ready
okay.
these. These are the last 2. Like I said, don't read them aloud. I don't know
I
what
won't.
would happen, but not risk it.
Do you want copies of all mine?
We can do that in a
Oh,
minute, but read
okay.
those first now.
Okay, let me make sure I do this right. So that would be really awkward if I didn't. Oh my god, I didn't. But it's okay. It's all right.
You got it? You
I'm
okay?
getting it. I got this. Wrong notebook. That's all. Okay, give me a minute. I'll read these.
I really want to hear her reading it, I'll be honest. Yeah, we can read along. I feel as if at this point I have taught myself in circles and repeated the same points over and over. I want to pivot topics. I wish to write about Isaac one last time. He told me many stories after we had managed to reconnect here in San Andreas. Even if we had a rather unsavory childhood, he managed to live a mostly decent life, at least by typical standards. After we went our separate ways, he eventually managed to go to school and get his doctorate. Isaac was always the smarter, more careful out of the two of us. And not only that, but it's interesting how the human body reacts to different ailments plagued his mind. During his time at school and shortly thereafter, he met a woman he would later marry. They both had stable jobs and a stable place to live for years. She was kind to Isaac. She showed him what it meant to be valued, loved, cared for. That is what he told me, at least. The woman, who remained unnamed for the sake of her family, eventually fell sick. No doctor nor Isaac could figure out exactly what was causing her to wither away. He spent months trying to figure out a way to help her. I know now that the thing was the cause of her suffering. When she passed, it was not too long after Isaac moved to San Andreas. He began his doctor work here, but this time the thirst inside him grew. It took a toll on his memory. It made him forget things about his late wife. Even with his new ailments, Isaac still tried to connect with the people around him. He grew close with lots of the medical staff that worked at Pillbox Medical, the hospital he worked at during this time. Not only there, but most of the city still saw him as a staple in the medical community, knowing of the sickness he would cause. It was during this time that he met a woman named Olivia Copper. They would spend countless hours together. They both cared for one another deeply, but never settled down on anything. Isaac knew at this point something was wrong with him, that if he grew too close to Olivia, she would meet the same fate as his late wife. So instead he turned to me and we began our work. The memory of what happens after that is tainted by that grotesque creature that puppeted Isaac's decaying body. I will not recount it here. Even after being tormented most of his life, he still tried to be kind. He deserved better than what he got in the end. I blame myself somewhat. He never got to have his last chat with Olivia. His soul vanished into the fog. Though he did get to live a stable life for a while, I'm glad of that. There will be no afterlife for him. Not for
Jesus.
souls that end up twisted creatures like us. There will be no afterlife for me. I remember watching him go. Being death, it was my burden to see him off. I have no memory of crying when I was living. I did then. Even if it was just one tear. I am on my way, Isaac. I am sorry for everything that happened to you. I'm glad you don't have to feel it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to say anything revolving that, really.
Would be a good idea.
I don't know, Doc. Even if he's gone despite whatever comes next, I mean, we can sit and we can worry about what that might mean, but even if he stays, we still don't know what comes next either. We truly, truly never ever know. You just roll the dice and hope that things are okay.
And Jack. I was saying this to me family just the other day. It's sometimes you just gotta do. Sometimes you just gotta help people, no matter whether they've done bad things or good things. It's just the right thing to do.
I
And I
agree.
think this might be one of those moments. You can't decide whether or not it's gonna have consequences or not. Is you spend your life weighing up whether helping people is gonna have bad consequences. I don't know. You're never gonna end up helping anybody.
I think doing something good is the only thing we won't regret, no matter what happens.
Yeah. Let me get you those pages.
Whew, I'll get you all mine if you want them.
No.
Okay. But just know you can come ask again if you change your mind.
I'm hoping this will be it for me. We'll see.
Do you want me to tell you of anything? If anything?
I think if you manage to get all the pages, let me know.
Will do. I promise.
Okay. Well, just make sure nobody does anything stupid. So try and avoid that this time around. Because
Yeah,
I
I'm
was one
doing
of
my
those
best.
people last time, and yeah.
You may want to have a talk with Jackie then. I don't think I'll be able to convince him that under no circumstances are deals ever on the table. He says he'll avoid it, but it seems like there's still a part of him that would be willing if it came down to it.
See what I can
Hopefully,
do.
those are in the past. Thank you.
All right. Keep in touch, Andy. All right.
Will do. Stay safe, please.
You too. Hello.
Howdy. How are you?
Oh, hey, Forte.
I haven't
I'm pretty.
talked to you in forever.
Yeah, I've had a couple sick days, mate. How are you?
Good. Just want to say hi. Hi.
Yeah, what's been going on? Have I missed anything?
I don't know.
Anything happened past few days? Yeah.
I don't think so. Just normal shit.
Normal shit. Okay, yeah. Were you working?
I'm always looking for an excuse not to.
Why is that? Why you don't want to work much?
Because I like to get out there and be a person.
You can be a person and a police officer at the same time, you know.
Yeah, but nobody talks to you like normal though.
I mean, you can foster that, you know.
Oh, I've tried. I got shot over it. Oh yeah, I got shot. Maybe that's new news.
Oh God, what? How?
I was performing at Tequila La, and a bunch of dudes came in and basically robbed everyone. And then they robbed me, and they realized I was a cop, and then they shot me.
Oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Jesus, what? Am I on your emergency contacts?
Do you want to be?
Yeah? What the hell?
Yeah.
When was this?
A couple days ago.
Oh my God.
It was crazy.
Did they find out who it was?
Nope, I don't even think there's a report.
Oh my God. Shift 2?
Shift 2.
Classic.
Classic, right?
Okay.
Slacks was there.
Slacks was there. All right.
Yeah, I heard his voice.
That's good. Well, it's not good. That's bad, actually. It's really bad. Okay.
It's not great. Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, it's not great. Look. All right.
Cornwood called me a little Texas Ranger.
No, that's cool. That's
I
cool.
jizzed everywhere.
Okay, Forte, please. Can you not say things like that to me? Yeah. Well, well, nothing, but just can you not? I'm married. Do you know that? I don't need to know about your juices.
I'm not. Let's just get some shit straight. I'm not even gay, even a little bit.
And it doesn't mean I want to hear about your juices.
So you don't have to flex your marriage at me like I'm trying to home wreck it.
Yeah, listen. Ziggy tried it. That's all I'm saying, and now he's married to my son. So
that's so weird.
it's pretty weird, huh? Yeah, but that was a long time ago, so we're over there now. It's in the past, but I will never forget it, and I'll hold a grudge.
Family's a family of incests.
Okay, no, that is not true. There was no incest
Really?
ever happened. Yes, really, yeah.
It's like if imagine the craziness of drama that if Sean Maple and Etta broke up and then I got with Etta. That's crazy.
That would be pretty crazy.
That would be crazy.
That would be pretty crazy. That's not gonna happen. That's never gonna happen. I'm telling you now.
No, I could never. Honestly, I could never.
Okay, all right, good. I didn't even think about it.
Well, I have a meeting with the Oh yeah, I had a meeting with the Oh, maybe I shouldn't.
You have a meeting with the mayor?
Ooh, maybe I shouldn't talk about that.
Why do you have a meeting with the mayor?
No, I had one.
Why are you having meetings with the mayor, Forte?